Hi, my YouTube family. This is Melody from Home Garden and Fashion. I thank you so much for being here today. Today, we're going to have a wonderful time together. Hi, my YouTube family. This is Melody from Home Garden and Fashion. Today, we're going to do a story. So, some of my subscribers requested stories, so I'm going to do a story today. Today's story is In Search of Happiness. So this story is about a lady named Mary and her husband John and their son Bill. So Mary just came back from work, and she worked in a law office, and her husband Bill had a huge law firm with several very high class lawyers, and they pretty much worked 80 hours a week. And their son Bill, they gave him top notch education, but he seemed to lost his ways, and he was kind of just living in home and not listening to his parents, doing whatever he wished to do. And he had a pretty crazy life. Like, he would wake up around 10, 11, 12 whenever he pleased, and then he did whatever he pleased. He did finish his college, and his college was actually a medical degree, which he did not use because it seemed like he was not interested in it, and he did that just to make his parents happy, and since they paid for the medical college, so he just did it. But he was not interested at all to go to the hospital or work. It seemed like he did not find any joy working in that area, and he was basically lost. But his parents did not have any problem with the money, so he did not have to make a living. He just kept living in his parents' home. So Mary came back from work. John and Mary did not ever cook because they did not have any time, but they did have some housekeeper and cooks, and the cooks and housekeeper used to cook and leave the food on the table and go, because John and Mary always came back home around 8, 9, sometimes 9:30, sometimes they ate it outside, so they never had a specific time or family dinner time. So it was basically go, 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 and there was no time to talk to each other or relax or anything. And they lived on a very huge mansion on the rich side of the city where only rich people lived, and they had like 2 or 3 cars. Very good life they were living, nothing that they were missing. But they all 3 of them had their own lifestyle and own ways. Nobody was actually connected to each other, and they were all very on their own path, very unhappy. So Mary came back around 9:30, and then he saw that John wasn't back either that time, so she texted him to see what's going on, when he's coming back, and he said he has some clients and some business to take care, so he will be back around 11 or so. So Mary should just eat and go to bed. And she texted the son, and he was somewhere with his friends, so he did not bother to even answer his mother. So she just ate some fruit. She wasn't feeling like to eat a dinner alone. And this was pretty much every day their life. She ate some fruit and went to bed, and then next morning start the same routine. They both left by 7 or 8, and 9 o'clock their law firm open always, and then by the time they were 9:10 they were there, and the whole day was busy and meeting and everything. So this was basically was Mary's life. But while doing this, Mary's life became a rut, and Mary physically and mentally felt very drained and very sick, but she still didn't have time to take time off or days off or take 6 days off, have a week off or sick day or anything like that, because it was very busy. And they both were divorce attorneys, so there were a lot of divorce going on, and then they were so busy. So after coming back home, Mary was very sick. She felt like she had a flu, kind of like flu, and then it was going on for 3-4 days. So then finally Mary decided to go to a doctor and have it checked, and she went to a doctor to have it checked, and the doctor said that to do some more tests, and they did many tests, and then after many tests the doctor find out that Mary had ovarian cancer. So Mary knew something was wrong because she didn't feel so good. Then she decided to talk to her friends, and she talked to many friends, and to see what path would be best for her to take, since she was not much into surgery or chemo or anything like that, because she knew that these things really didn't give good outcomes for everybody. So Mary talked to one friend, and she recommended to go see she recommended to go see a certain person, and this person does natural therapy. So Mary was very interested, so she told John that she's going to take some time off and he should just hire some more attorneys. So she needs to take the time off because it became so difficult for her to do anything. She feeling very sick. So John hired a few more attorneys, and John was also involved with somebody behind Mary's back, where Mary had a hunch but she wasn't sure. So John was not very sad with this news, because it kind of freed him from the obligation to coming home late every night and lying to Mary, so knowing that the Mary will be gone for a while. And since Mary knew this, it bothered her for a long time, but she was just living with it, knowing that her husband was cheating on her, which bothered her extremely, knowing that her son was a failure, which bothered her extremely. So anyway, Mary took the address of that yogi. He was basically a yogi. So then finally Mary went, and this yogi lived in India, and Mary was going from US, so it was far away, but she decided that she wants to do it. And she went with another friend. Her friend Lily also wanted to visit India and visit this yogi. So she went with Mary, and they together planned this trip. and then they took some bare minimum things what they needed, and they both set out to go. And it was a long journey, around 26 hours of traveling on 3 different flights, and it seemed like almost 3 days because of the changing time zone. But they finally arrived. When they arrived, it was totally a different sight, because in US it was rush, go, and things, totally a different kind of environment where people just want to do things, get money, things. But where they went in a rural village in India where life was very, very slow. So as they first they landed on the city, and then they had to take many small trains and buses to get to the rural village, and they also had to wear clothes like the villagers so they won't be singled out as wearing different clothes. So they wore Indian clothes, salwar kurta. They couldn't manage sari, that was a long thing, so they just wore salwar kurta and dupatta, and they pretty much dressed like Indian people. And then they went to the yogi's ashram, and it was in a village. And this yogi's ashram, as they landed there, they felt so different. Mary instantly felt a relief in her pain around the pelvic area and heaviness. It seems like instantly going away. And from the place they got down from the bus, they had to walk a little bit, like a couple of blocks, carrying their luggage. There was no transportation from that unit to the other unit. Was very little, so nobody hired a transportation for that. So they walked, and there was pretty much a lot of people available to carry their things for just exchange for money. And as they entered the yogi's ashram, there was a room booked for them, and this room had just the basic necessities. So it had one wooden cot, so one wooden cot, small for one for Mary and one for Lily. So in one room, 2 wooden cot, and then they had 2 small tables and 2 chairs, and they had 2 wooden chest of drawers with locks, and that's all for their belongings. So that was all for their belongings, and everyone there had very minimum stuff, and they all lived a very simple life. In everybody's room, outside the room, there was a huge veranda. It's called veranda. It's like an open sky patio where you can see the sky, and it was the patio in the center of the building, and on the sides were all around rooms, and all the rooms had attached to it a small bathroom. But in the bathroom there was extensively water was used in buckets, so all the bathrooms had a small tap water coming. And in the center of the veranda there was also a pumping tap where you can pump the water from underground, and that's the water they drank. And this water supposedly very good, filled with lots of minerals and all the things that our body needs. and it comes from underground. So that was on the center of the patio, and all around people did clothesline, and lots of sunshine came, and people would dry their clothes, and in one corner there was a place to wash clothes, and everybody washed their clothes by hand. So, and all around there were like 20 rooms, so that many people at a time came to fix whatever diseases they have. Mary was very blessed to find a space on that, and Lily felt blessed to accompany Mary in this journey. Now their trip was for a month, and 1 month they will get physical, mental, spiritual cleansing, and this is supposed to cleanse them from all the diseases. So the first night they were very tired, so they just slept because they had the jet lag. And the next day, early in the morning, around 5 a.m., somebody came and went to the middle of the veranda, which is called patio, and they had a bell, and they rang the bell. So Mary and Lily woke up not knowing what's going on, so they asked this maid, and she said that this is the time for everybody to get up. Everybody should get up that time. So Mary and Lily, they got up, and after that, one by one, everybody took shower and cleaned up, and after that, there was a common area where everybody needs to come to have their tea, morning tea, and this tea was with lots of spices, spiced tea with ginger, cardamom, clove, things like that, and with that one dry pumpkin bread, and that was just a morning tea. So first, when they washed up, they all had to go to the temple, and this temple was just outside their room. In the lawn, front lawn, there was a temple area. They went there, and then morning there was some puja and prayer. After the puja and prayer, they took little bit of prasadi. Prasadi was like some few cut pieces of fruits and little bit of sweet pera, which is like milk and sugar mix. So this is just a little bit of prasad. It was called blessings from God, and everybody gets like 1 or 2 teaspoons in their on the palm of their hand, and then they eat that first thing. And they had that, and after that they went and they drank the spiced tea and little bit piece of pumpkin bread. And after that, around 10, they had their first breakfast, and for the breakfast they had some sprouted mung beans and some vegetables on the side, like sweet potato, just boiled sweet potatoes, sprouted mung beans, and some fruits, and they had that. And for lunch, they had some brown rice and some vegetable and some lentil soup. In the evening, they had all kinds of pumpkin seeds, all kinds of seeds roasted, and some fruits. And at night time they had some bread and some vegetables and some lentil soup. And that was the basic diet there, and that's what everybody ate. And there was no meat or dairy or anything allowed there. They did eat little bit of ghee and little bit of sweet made out of milk, which was being offered to the god, and that's all, like pudding, rice pudding being offered to the god, and that's all. But main thing over there was evening time and morning time. Right after the tea and the pumpkin bread snack, everyone had to go to the yoga room and they did 1 hour of yoga and 30 minutes to an hour of meditation. And they did that right after breakfast. After they ate the breakfast and they started, like breakfast was all finished by 10 o'clock. So around 11 to 1 o'clock they had this yoga and meditation. And then in the evening also around 4 and 6 they had this yoga and meditation. So as Mary was doing this daily basis, during the yoga sessions she met the sadhu, the priest, the yogi, and she told him about her cancer and how the doctor said there was not much hope and she needs to do the radiation and chemo. So to this the sadhu said that he asked her to write down her lifestyle and all the things that's been happening to her and highlight the things that they bother her, and she did that, and then she brought that next day. And then the sadhu, the priest, he looked up on those, and then he told Mary that basically what she was suffering with all her son would not turn out the way she wanted. The husband, his infidelity, all these things, she was holding on to all this, and these things blocked the energy flow, and this block is which was causing her cancer. So what she needs to do is she needs to start letting go. The sadhu started doing therapy on her. Basically therapy was nothing but talking through her, and while talking he mentioned that years ago he started doing his own research, and through his research he found that animals actually did not have any, at least not so much diseases like human, because animals did not have so much of the blocked energy. And the reason they did not have it because they didn't have much expectation from each other, and they were not bound in marriage or relationships. Everybody lived their own, did their own things. But human bound in relationship and have too much expectation, certain expectation from each other, that's what caused this energy to stop flowing. That's what caused the diseases. So Mary need to start living more like animal and have to follow certain rules, guidelines which are in the animal kingdom, which like waking up early in the morning, taking things easy, eating, sleeping on time, daily exercising, doing meditation, and sleeping also early, and not have so much expectation from people, not take relationships so much seriously, because we all came here to alone to do certain job, and we all have to live alone. We cannot live with anybody, and we cannot take anything or anybody with us. So this is kind of causing diseases to have expectation and live against nature and doing things against nature. So as Mary stayed 1 month in 1 month she felt really good, so she extended her stay for another month, and the next month she even felt much better, and they had many cleansing therapies, and Mary did those cleansing. They had cleansing for thyroid, they had cleansing for liver, gallbladder, and pancreas, and acid cleanse. And these cleansings were nothing but drinking fresh fruits and vegetable juices and staying away from salt, sugar, and harmful things, and just living in natural life. And also when they cook they use wood, so everybody had to take turn on collecting twigs and woods, and they bring it and they together worked in the kitchen, and they cooked food and ate, and it was all done in a central kitchen, and everybody ate together, and there was nothing like yours, mine, or anything. So this helped tremendously. By the end of the 3rd month, she extended another month after the 2nd month. By the end of the 3rd month, Lily and Mary were both physically, mentally, totally sound. But the only problem was that they did not want to go back. They did not want to go back. But they had to come back to get few things straight. So as they came back to US from India, Mary saw her family was totally like wild lifestyle. Her husband was living a wild life with his new girlfriend. The son was living a wild life with all his friends and girlfriends, and husband already was getting sick with many diseases and everything. So as Mary came back, she found herself being trapped into the same situation, and then she realized that this cancer was nothing but a situation created disease, a disease which was created due to living in a bad situation where the body felt totally trapped. And when she switched the situation and went to a real peace, calm, serene environment, her cancer vanished because energy flows nicely throughout her body. So she said goodbye to everybody, gave away her money and things to everybody, and she packed 2 bags whatever she needed, and she set out for India for a whole year. Every year she had to come back due to visa reasons, and she came back and she saw the chaos in her husband and son's life due to crazy lifestyle. But she decided to live in India, and she kept going every year, and she started serving the yogi and that place, and she performed many duties there, and it was all voluntary basis, but she lived a very good life without any diseases, very happy life. And she learned a lesson that we humans are supposed to live with bare minimums and sharing with everybody and helping everybody and live the right way, the way nature intended us to live. And that's how Mary found her happiness and health and prosperity, and she learned a new meaning of health, happiness, and prosperity. And she learned that happiness and health and prosperity didn't come from 2, 3 cars or a big mansion or a great career, lots of money. It actually came from living with bare minimum and serving the humanity and living very clean life physically, mentally, and spiritually. Later after 10 years down the road, John had become so ill physically and mentally that Mary helped him to cleanse his soul and body and spirit by taking him to this yogi and this ashram in India, and they tried to help their son, but he was not listening. So Mary thought that he will fix himself when he had the desire to do so. Before that, Mary cannot help him. On the other hand, also he has to suffer till his bad karma is finished. Once that finished, then he will seek for help himself. So this is the way Mary found happiness, and after she found the true happiness, nothing stopped her from helping the humanity and people and serving and living a clean life. I hope you all like the story. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share the video, and I'll see you with many more. Good night, sweet dreams. Hi, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share this video. Thank you. May God bless you all.